Okay, then thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay. So let me share the slides. Can you all see the slides, please? Presentation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you see, the presentation mode or normal mode? How do you see it? Is it the presentation mode? Yes.
This is normal mode, sir.
The
All the pages.
What do you see?
Computer. Yeah.
All you see all the pages.
Slides. Yes, yes.
Okay. That is the issue. Now, how do you see it? Yes.
Yeah, now,
How do you see it
okay.
now? What do you see now?
Now we are showing the slides left side, the small one, all the slide, the major main screen on the center.
Okay. I am putting now it to presentation mode. Please see whether it is changed now to the presentation mode. Can you see it in the presentation mode?
Yes,
Not
sir,
yet.
it
Or
is.
still the same?
It is now presentation mode. Yeah, we can see now.
So it is presentation mode, no? Now you can't
Yeah.
see the smaller slide by the slide. You can't see now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now somebody told me when I put it to presentation mode, you all can't see here.
Yes, sir. Now it's still small. Miss, I think that it is not in presentation mode, ne, Tama?
That means we should use that the cup icon in the corner. Then we can use as a presentation view.
Now I have put it into presentation view actually.
Yeah. We can. That means a big slide on only one screen.
Yeah, that is what I have put now. Let me put it to presentation mode now. So now it is in the presentation mode. Can you see the presentation mode?
Now we can't see, sir. We can see only all slides.
You see all the slides now.
Yes, sir.
So that is an issue actually. So when you see I think I have to show you the entire screen then.
So can you share again?
Yeah, let me check. Entire screen. Okay, what can you see now?
I think now it's okay, sir, because you share the entire screen. We can see all.
Yeah.
Now it's okay.
So if I want to show you the presentation mode, that means I have to share the entire screen, no? Okay. Right. I think we'll start then. I think you all have we have studied about the supply chain management, and we understand what is a supply chain. So here what we are discussing is how do you manage inventories in the supply chain. So by now you must have done a lot of inventory management tools. I know you have understood now what is independent demand, what is independent demand, what are the tools that you are using to manage independent demand, like reorder level system. So periodic review system kind of tools. Dependent demand, you must have studied then raw material, the requirement planning, material requirement planning, MRP kind of tools. Also, another tool that can be used to manage a pull system with the independent demand will be then just in time. And also, we need to understand the basics of just in time and what is before that we need to understand lean principles, lean management, and thereby we should be able to discuss uh, just in time and that kind of inventory management systems. Also, you must have studied common inventory management systems such as ABC analysis, WED analysis, kind of analysis. Am I right? Have you all done all these by now? Except lean? Yes? Please give me the feedback. It's very important. I hope you have done. Am I right? Susima, yes? Have you all done those things by now?
Yes, sir.
No one? Yeah. Okay. So let's try to understand what is lean and what is just in time thereby, and how best we can implement these things in organizations, and what kind of environmental requirements are there. So let's see what is now what is a supply chain. We understand that you all have done what a supply chain is. So supply chain is basically a set of organizations uh, coordinated in a very close manner to fulfill a particular requirement in the market. So it is a basically network of organizations, a web of organizations. It is not linear, it is multidimensional. A web of organizations actually working in a very close coordinated manner to fulfill a particular market requirement. So that is a supply chain. So within the supply chain, there are a lot of inefficiencies happening. As I think we have already discussed some of these inefficiencies, and we have discussed already uh, the characteristics or the elements of a supply chain. Have you all done this earlier? I think I can remember I did. Has everybody done this part? Yes, Susima?
You have done, sir, the supply web and all the same slide you have shown. I
Right.
remember that. Yeah.
Okay. That means we have discussed. That's okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to highlight about the inefficiencies, I think we discuss inefficiencies as well. If you consider the same supply chain, what we discussed, so the t-shirt supply chain as an example, I think we discussed. In the t-shirt supply chain, you have the basically the farmer who is growing cotton. So cotton farmer. So farmer is producing cotton then in the farm. Cotton is supplied to yarn mill, then converted to yarn. Yarn is supplied to fabric mill, converted to fabric. Then fabric is supplied to garment manufacturer, converted to garments. Garments are collected or distributed to distributor. He distributes to then retailers. From the retailers, consumers buy. Then consumers generate garbage and put it to garbage, and from the garbage bin it is added back to the nature actually. So nature is producing cotton in the farm. අපි ඔක්කොම කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. So in this particular cycle, there are so many inefficiencies taking place. That is what is more important to us. In terms of funds, in terms of resources movements, in terms of information, all these areas, there are a lot of inefficiencies taking place. So therefore, as a result, the poor consumer here has to pay for a lot of unwanted things because of this issue. And therefore, there are a lot of inefficiencies in the supply chain. So you have a lot of inefficiencies. And at the same time, a lot of waste. Different types of waste occurring in the supply chain. Then when we have discussed all these things. The farmer here is the extractor. Farmer is the extractor of resources. Then yarn mill, fabric mill and garment manufacturers are converters. They are converting it. And the distributor to all these people, retailers, everybody is service providers. They provide the service. So in this kind of a setup, there are a lot of inefficiencies taking place as we discussed, which will increase the cost at the end of the day, cost of the supply chain. With all these inefficiencies and waste, finally the cost will be increased. What is the answer to this then? How do you control the cost? How do you manage the cost in terms of supply chain management? So that is where the issue was. And we discussed further then the model of process. A process is an activity or set of activities which will transform inputs to outputs. So you have inputs here. There are so many inputs: people, material, measures, machinery, money, energy, time, technology, all these are, and there can be so many other inputs. All these are inputs to the process. In the process, we are transforming these inputs to an output. Inputs, there are two types of inputs and two types of outputs. What are the two types of inputs? Will be the two types of inputs. Give me a second. Now you have the process. In the process, you have different types of inputs. But if you take this as the process, then if this is the process, so you have inputs. So inputs are transformed to outputs. So this particular process takes place within the organization. So therefore, you need to understand then how these dynamics will be changing. Now inputs, generic input to this process will be, you have people, you have material, machines are there, then methods and systems, money is spent, technology use, so energy use. So like that, there are so many different types of inputs. And you'll get an output then. Output basically two types. One is it can be products or services, or it can be sometimes both. Either products, services, or in certain processors, you'll get both. I think just a reminder, because we need to understand exactly what is just in time and lean. We need to understand the process then. So in this particular process, if you take the input side, there are two types of inputs. Either your inputs will be transforming inputs or transformed, transforming and transformed, otherwise transforming. What is transforming inputs and what are transformed inputs? In any process, you will be able to see all these two types of inputs. Either inputs will be transformed inputs or transforming inputs. So what is transforming inputs then? What are transforming inputs? What are transforming inputs? Transformed inputs and transforming inputs. What do you mean by transforming inputs? So when you take the process, in the process, if you have inputs transformed to products, either products or services, the input get transformed. If you take this particular pen, in the process they must have used all these inputs, but you can see only material here. So therefore, in the process, this material have transformed to a product. Therefore, this material which get transformed is called transformed input. Transformed. එතකොට අනිත් ඉන්පුට්ස් වලට මොකද වුනේ? එතකොට එක මැටීරියල් විතරක් ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆෝම්ඩ් වුණා. හැබැයි ඒක ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆෝම් වෙන්න මිනිස්සු, මැෂින්, සිස්ටම්ස්, එනර්ජි ඔක්කොම උදව් වුණා. ඒක නිසා මේ ඉන්පුට්ස් වලට කියනවා transforming inputs. Transforming. Transformation එකට උදව් වෙන ඒවා. Transformation එකට උදව් වෙන inputs transforming. Otherwise transform whenever transformed. Remember the two types of inputs then. You have transforming inputs. The transformation process එකට උදව් කරනවා. Or you have transformed inputs. ඇත්තටම transform වෙනවා. In this case, this material has been transformed to this particular pen. Or anything, any tangible product if you take, that means material have been transformed to that particular product. Remember the two types of inputs then. One type of inputs will be transformed inputs. Other types of inputs will be transforming inputs. Transformed and transforming inputs. Now we are going to the output side. There are two types of outputs, either products or services, or sometimes it can be both. In the process, if we have produced a tangible product like this, then it is a product. The output will be a product. But there are some processes you will not be able to produce a tangible manufacturing product. But there can be some changes occurring. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මේ සෙෂන් එකට සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච පළමුවෙන්ම සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච අය නෙවෙයි දැන් ඉන්නේ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. උදේ අපි දැක්කොත් එම දෙකට සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච අය නෙවෙයි දැන් ඉන්නේ වෙනස් කට්ටියක් මේස. ඒගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් වෙලා value add වෙලා transform වෙලා. So in this particular process, it is a process and the transformed input will be people or the participants. So the transformed input. So therefore, the transformed input get transferred to an tangible product, that is the output. But there can be certain processes like this. You engage with the process, but there's no tangible product. So you are totally creating a service then. It can be logistics service. It can be any other service. You are totally engaged with the so the product. And at the end of the day, you're transforming the transformed inputs to a transformed input and output. In such a situations, you are changing certain things and bringing a totally a new product as a transformed product. Now, tell me, in this particular case, right now, at this moment, now we have got all these inputs. දැන් මේ අපි කරන මේ මොහොතේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම we have got people, we have got material, we have got machinery, all these things are there. Therefore, we are engaged with the process. In this case, mono input out of these inputs, what input get transformed, do you think? So in this process, what is the transformed input? Yes, anybody please? Yes. Ikmat. So what do you mean by the transformed input in this particular process right now?
Is it finished goods?
No, the මේ මොහොතේ අපි process එකකද ඉන්නේ මේ මොහොතේ මේ දැන් අපි process එකකද ඉන්නේ මේ දැන් මේ මොහොතේ. Yes, are we engaged with the process right now? මේ මොහොතේ අපි process එකකද ඉන්නේ?
Yes. Yes, sir. Now.
Yes. Yeah. එහෙමනම් මට කියන්න දැන් ඔක්කොම inputs එක තියෙනවානේ man, machine, material, methods, money invested, time, energy is used, all these inputs are there. එහෙමනම් මොන out of these inputs what input get transformed? මොන input එකද output එකේදී transform වෙලා එන්නේ? ඔය ඔතන තියෙන inputs වලින්. Yes, quickly. Yeah, quickly, please.
Technology.
Material.
Material. The මේ මොහොතේදී transform වෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා මම අහන්නේ.
Students.
Right now, the material පාවිච්චි වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ මෙතෙන්දී අපි දැන්.
Technology.
Students.
Knowledge.
Actually, with the
Knowledge.
student, you are right.
Yeah.
දැන් මේ මොහොතේදී transform වෙන්නේ student. ඔගොල්ලෝ දෙකට join වෙච්ච කට්ටිය නෙවෙයිනේ දැන් ඉන්නේ. Knowledge is added. Therefore, the transformed input will be the humans or the people, those who are engaged with the process. You are getting transformed. එහෙම බැලුවොත් on the other side, output එක ගත්තොත් there are two types of outputs. One is intangible outputs and tangible outputs, or we can say products and services. Products සාමාන්‍යයෙන් tangible, සාමාන්‍යයෙන් intangible. Now, can somebody tell me why in this particular case it is intangible? Because you are transforming the person with the values. So therefore, it cannot be touched. Therefore, it is an intangible. So like that, you should be able to analyze the input side separately and output side separately when it comes to processors. Okay. Okay. Something is happening. Give me a second, please. Give me a minute, please. Sorry about it. So you understand then what are the transforming inputs and transform inputs. So the inputs which get transformed to the product is transformed, which inputs which are supporting the transformation process is transforming. අපි එක මම හිතන්නේ මේවා කලින් කරලා තියෙනවා. Just a reminder. On the other side, you have two types of outputs as we have already discussed. Certain outputs will be then tangible products, that is a product, or otherwise it is a service. At this moment, we engage with a service. Therefore, students are getting transformed and it is knowledge added actually. By adding knowledge, the students are getting transformed. So these are the two types of then outputs and the two types of inputs that we have in the process. Okay, so in this particular situation, how do you analyze the situation when it comes to lean and just in time? So you can see what is lean then. To understand lean properly, we'll come back to this. To understand lean properly, so we need to understand the basic concept of lean. So the basic concept of lean is, at the end of the day, you are trying to eliminate, you are trying to identify different types of waste occurring and eliminating waste. This is important. So the lean's base is, the most basic element of lean will be to eliminate waste. Waste නිකම්ම eliminate කරන්න බෑනේ. So we need to understand what is waste and what are the different types of waste and how much of waste you will have. Quantify කරලා ඔය ටික ඔක්කොම කරලා එන්න ඕන waste මොකක්ද කියන identify කරලා waste eliminate කරන්න processes වලින්. So waste for the moment, just understand elimination of waste තමයි lean කියලා කියන්නේ. Elimination of waste. හැබැයි අපි තාම දන්නේ නැහැ waste කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. It can be lean logistics, can be lean warehousing, it can be lean supply chain management, it can be lean production, whatever it is. Lean means, remember, lean means elimination of waste. Ega no two words. Lean means elimination of waste. Elimination of waste. Remember that. So when it comes to elimination of waste, so we need to understand the systematic procedure and what is the base and what are we doing. So we'll come back to this key principles of lean management. So basically minimizing the waste, whatever it is, wherever it is. It can be warehouse, it can be production, it can be inventory management, wherever it is. You have to minimize the waste. And you need to understand the basic element of processes, how to basically explain the process. As we have already discussed, it is inputs converted to outputs. And you have inputs different types and output two types. You are getting tangible products and intangible services. Now we discussed lean කියන්නේ එතකොට eliminate කරන එක waste එක. එහෙනම් waste කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? You have to go dig down to the final, the concept, minute concept, unless otherwise you will not be able to give a solution. So elimination of waste, reducing and elimination of waste, that is lean. So waste තියෙනකොට ගොඩක් මහතයි, waste නැති වුණාම ගොඩක් හීනි. ඇඟේ වුණත් එහෙමනේ. fat කියන්නේ waste. So fat ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් මහතයි. The fat, if you are doing particular some exercises to burn fat, and if you are doing it systematically, you will be burning and reducing waste. Waste කියන්නේ fat. එතකොට කෙට්ටු වෙනවා, lean වෙනවා. So waste කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Anything that takes time, resources or space but does not add to the value of the product or service delivered to the customer, it is basically then you are removing waste. And that is what is waste. Anything that takes time, anything that takes resources, anything that consumes space. හැබැයි resources, time, space ඔක්කොම consume කරාට customer ට කිසිම වැඩක් නැහැ. කිසිම value එකක් add වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So if there is nothing we add to the customer, but we consuming time, resource and space, then it is a waste. It is a very big waste then. You are consuming resources, but you are not adding any value to the customer or the customer's products. Therefore, it is a waste. But there's still the mega හැමෝටම කිව්වට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. So therefore, you need to go into details to identify how waste are basically categorized. The Japanese concept, there are three things in the Japanese management. What are these three? You have Muda, you have Mura, and you have Muri. All three are there. So what do you in Japanese? Muda means waste. No two words. Muda means waste. Muri කියන්නේ නිකන් මොලේ කචල් වෙලා තියෙන තැන. Overburden situation. It's a burden. It's an overburden, not normal burden also. It is an overburden situation, very stressful. Or there can be some unevenness in the processes, and therefore unevenness is there. So that is how it works then. Give me a second, please. Wait, let me share again. Something is happening. Okay, can you all see the screen, please? Can you all see the screen?
Yes,
Can
sir.
everybody see the screen? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
But it is not visible properly, no? So not as
Okay. Let me share it again. Can you see it now? Then pay no.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now, this is in how they have explained Muda, Muri, and Mura. Muda කියන්නේ waste. දැන් මේ පළවෙනි line එක ගන්න, you can actually load 3 boxes to each lorry. 4 boxes, sorry. You can load 4 boxes. There are boxes 4ක් load කළොත් boxes 12යි තියෙන්නේ. අපිට ඕන lorry 3යි. boxes 4ක් load කළොත් එක lorry එකට boxes 12යි තියෙන්නේ. අපිට ඕන lorry 3යි. අපිට ගෙනියා මේ අපෙන් deliver කරන්න හරි අපිට ගේන්න හරි තියෙන්නේ lorry 3යි ඕන. හැබැයි load කරලා තියෙන්නේ එක lorry එකට boxes 3යි. ඒක නිසා මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? තව lorryයක් වැඩිපුර hire කරන්න ඕන. තව lorryයක් වැඩිපුර hire කරන්න ඕන. මොකද boxes 4ක් load කරන්න පුරන් lorry එකට 3යි load කරලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේ වගේ situations organizations වල නැද්ද? ඔගොල්ලෝ lorry 3ක් ඕන එකට 4ක් order කරන්නේ නැද්ද? වාහන 3ක් එකට ඕන එකට 4ක් order කරන්නේ නැද්ද? මේවා common mistakes and common waste that are occurring in organizations. හැබැයි lean වලට එනකොට මේට වඩා පොඩ්ඩක් ඉස්සරහට complex වෙලා යනවා. Then ඊළඟ සිටුේෂන් එක ගත්තොත් එකකට 2යි දාලා තියෙන්නේ, තව එකට 6ක් දාලා, තව එකට 4ක් කිසිම ඊවන් ගතියක් නැහැ. level ගතියක් නැහැ. So that is Mura. Muri means overburden situation එකක්. පුළුවන් තරම් පටවගෙන ගියා යයිද දන්නේ නැහැ කොච්චර දුර. Because the load is too much. 4ක් දාන්න පුළුවන් එක 6ක් දාලා. So therefore, that's another location. So you can see Muda, Muri, and Mura. But when you load 4 boxes to each lorry, මේ තුනෙන් එකක්වත් නැහැ. Mudat නැහැ, Murit නැහැ, Murat නැහැ. So it should be 3 then. 3 lorries with 4 boxes. No Muda, no Muri. දැන් මේක කොහොමද අපි ඈඳගන්නේ? So when it comes to lean. So before we go to lean, we need to understand 2 different types of processors. අපේ organizations වල මේ වෙනකොට තියෙනවා there are 2 types of processors. Even from the beginning it was identified. What are these processors then? The processors, there is a set of processors which basically cannot be identified unless otherwise it is very clearly given. එතකොට මේ waste එක අඳුරගන්න they came up with another criteria to identify value adding and non-value adding activities. To identify value adding and non-value adding activities. What is this then? When the opposite of waste happening, when the opposite of waste happening, so we can say that this particular process is required or not required based on the simple categorization, whether the processes are required or not. In such a same time, at the same time, it will decide how much of waste it will incur. So that is the correlation that you have. So if the waste is happening and if you can get whatever you want, and then it is non-value adding if the waste is happening. But if the waste is not happening and in the there are processes no value adding activity, හැබැයි ඒක අයින් කරන්න බෑ, ඒක ඕන. Non-value adding activity but he needed. So that is categorized under that. But non-value adding activities which are required to processes, no two words, it is required. Here you have a question. Here you don't want non-value added, but you can identify it is required. So therefore it is required and you might do it differently also. So going by this particular categorization, so you have value added activities and non-value added activities. So they identified few different types of processes. So they identified few different types of processes. Okay, something wrong with my presentation, the displays. So let me fix it first. Okay, how can it get changed? Give me a second, please. Okay. Right. Right. Can you all see the screen, please? Can everybody see the slide? Where on that?
Yes, sir.
Can you all see it, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Okay, very good. So then you understand the value added activities and non-value added activities. Value added activities nang etakota you are consuming resources, consuming space, consuming time, but there is something created new. But non-value added nang there is an issue. You don't create any value. So there are, how do you identify those processes, value adding and non-value adding processes? So this was a big issue for some time actually. Therefore, the Toyota engineer Aichi Ono, he suggested a system to identify value adding and non-value adding activities. So So thereby you are able to now identify value adding and non-value adding activities in processes. No big change, even at Toyota it is the same 70 years ago. So they also identified the same. So you have value adding and non-value adding activity. At the same time, there are two different market structures. There's another market structure, but you don't consider that in great sense. There are some organizations in the marketplace. They are the basically totally own people. They own the organization and they are the only player in the market. They are the only player in the market in such a situations. Now, what do we call them? When you have only one organization in the market, what do you call them? So when you have only one organization in the market, it is a
Monopoly.
monopoly. Very good. It is a monopoly. So that is a monopoly there. When it comes to monopoly, how do you decide the price? So when it comes to monopoly, the price will be cost plus profit equals the cost plus profit equals price. When it is a monopoly, cost එකට price එකේ margin එකක් එකතු කළාම ඒක profit එක එකතු කරාම ඒක price එක වෙනවා. Cost plus profit equals price. මේ monopoly එකකදී. එතන monopoly එකේදී තීරණය කරන්නේ price එක තීරණය කරන්නේ supplier. Monopoly එකේදී price එක තීරණය කරන්නේ supplier. හැබැයි when it comes to other type of organization, දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ organizations ගත්තොත් එහෙම ගොඩක් monopoly නෙවෙයි. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ organizations වල competitive environment එකේ competitors ලා ගොඩක් ඉන්නවා. ඒතර competitors ලා ඉන්න organization එක price formula එක මේක වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So when you are in a competitive environment, tell me who decides the price of the product that you are selling. So when you are in a competitive environment, you have more than one organization in the market. අපි තාම සිල්වන් ටොබැකෝ නෙවෙයි, water board නෙවෙයි, electricity board නෙවෙයි. ඔක්කොම monopolies. But here you have got 10-15 thousands of competitors in the market. එහෙම වෙලාවට who decide the price? Yes. When you are in a competitive environment, who will decide the price?
Customer.
Demand.
Yes.
Demand.
Who said demand? Yes.
Pradipika.
Okay. Pradipika, you are right. It is not only the demand actually. It is the demand and supply. So remember then, when you are in the monopolistic market, price is decided by the supplier. When you are in a non-competitive market, when you are a monopoly, price is decided by the supplier. The simple formula will be cost plus profit. But when you are in a competitive market, there are so many players in the market, and you are not the only player in the market. Then price will be decided by the market forces, as you said. The price will be decided by the market forces. ඒක කොහොමද වෙන්නේ? කොහොමද market forces වලින් price එක තීරණය වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? So let's look at little bit into those angles. How the price is decided then when you are in a competitive market. අපි බලමු in this particular situation, say you have y-axis cost and you have x-axis quantity. So you have a demand curve D1. For that, you have a supply curve S1. So this is the point where quantity demanded is supplied at this particular price. Quantity 1 and quantity 2. At this particular point, quantity demanded is exactly supplied. අපි හිතමු suddenly the demand is shifted and increased to this level D2. The quantity demanded is this Q2. Suppliers la inne still the same supply curve. ඒගොල්ලන්ට එකට adjust වෙන්න බෑ. ඒක නිසා price එක වැඩි වෙනවා. So මෙතන price එක P1. So P1 price එක මෙතන price එක වැඩි වෙනවා P2 වලට. The price will be increased P1 to P2. මේක තමයි වෙන්නේ. ඒතර මේ වගේ situation වලදී it is the supply and demand. So this point of price decided by the supply and demand. Therefore, those two are called market forces. Supply and demand is also called market forces. I hope you understand this one. So it is very simple. Those who have done economics, it is nothing actually. So you have a supply demand curve. The demand is increased within the very short period. So when the demand is increased, suppliers can't get adjusted. You are in the same supply curve. Therefore, quantity 2 will be supplied at a higher price. The price will be increased. ඒතර ඔකයි අපි ඉකොනොමික්ස් වලදී ඔයිට වඩා ගොඩක් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා price elasticity of demand and ඔය ඔක්කොම ටික උතෙන්දී කරනවා. But here we are not going to touch those areas. But we understand now in a competitive market, price is decided by market forces. ලස්සන වැඩේ කියන්නේ when the competitive market, when the price is decided by market forces, the formula gets changed upside down. මොකද so this is the formula for competitive market. So somebody's mic is muted. We also would like to have a Nescafe. Anyway, so when the market is competitive, you can see the price formula getting upside down. Isella අපි තමයි තීරණය කළේ price එක monopoly. But this time price is decided the market and price is given to you now. The price is given to you by the market. You are not going to decide. But you within the organization, you have the control of your cost factors. So when you reduce the cost from the price, you get the profit per unit. Annual පැත්තට දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. Annual revenue into annual cost minus annual cost, you get the annual profit. අපිට ඔන්නන් ඒ පැත්තට දාලා කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. But whatever way, so if you take a particular unit, it is the price, reduce the unit cost and equivalent to profit. ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ these cost elements are sometimes greater than the revenue, greater than the price. එතකොට negative profit එකක් එන්නේ. When the cost elements. So what are these cost elements? These cost elements are the inputs to that particular process. Annually ගත්තොත් ඒව annual salaries ගෙවන්න ඕන. Money charges ගෙවන්න ඕන. Machinery charges, material, machine breakdowns, methods, time management. All these need to be paid from the existing resources. In such a situation, some organizations, they don't have enough money to pay. So therefore, the cost structure is very high. Price is less. Therefore, they are ending up with negative profits. Negative profits. Anyway, so you understand the formula, very important when it is in the competitive environment. Price is given to you by the market, you can't have the control, and you can reduce your cost, and then you can earn a profit if you want. In this case, what is this? Again, when you go back then, so we need to understand how best we will be able to understand the value adding and non-value adding activities. Value adding and non-value adding activities. 70 years back, this was an issue for Toyota as well. And they came up with a criteria how to understand, eliminate these unwanted waste. Now, what is waste then? How do you define waste? Now, waste කියලා කියන්නේ මේ dustbin එකට දාන ඒවා නෙවෙයි මෙතන. ඒක නිසා they came up with a criteria, especially the engineer of Toyota, the Toyota Taichi Ono, he came up with a criteria how to define waste and how to define value adding functions and non-value adding functions. Let's try to understand then what is the criteria to decide value adding and non-value adding functions. Okay, before that, let's have a small break. Time 3:1, 5 minutes until 3:6. So until 3:6, let's have a small break. Is that okay with you all? Are you ready? Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So then,
Yes, sir.
okay. Right. Sorry, took a little bit of time. So you understand then the base for value adding, non-value adding. So how do you decide value adding and non-value adding? As IG Ono discussed, decided this is what Toyota practice. Then processors which are, he identified basically two types of processors. I hope everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So the two types of processors. So one type of processors is, so these are processors. Some processors value adding and some processors non-value adding. But non-value adding processors, they have some, still it is required. Although it is non-value adding, it is required. Therefore, you can't eliminate it. You have to minimize and you have to make it smaller. But there are some activities when it comes to organizations, non-value adding, but not required. So when it is non-value adding and not required, you can eliminate it. No two words. So if you can identify it properly, this activity is there, this process is there, but it is not required, it is not adding value, therefore you can eliminate. But there are some non-value adding, but it is required, you can't eliminate. That is the issue. But you have to minimize it then. So IG Ono applied this and came up with a criteria. Now the question is how to identify value adding and non-value adding. So he came up with a criteria how to decide value adding and non-value adding. So one of the criterion he identified is this then. If you are having a particular material, so let's take a situation like a situation such as maybe Nuan gets a trouser material maybe as a present on the 14th of February. So he received a trouser material as a present and he goes to the tailor to stitch a trouser. He goes to the tailor. So what will be the tailor doing? Nuan, what will be the tailor doing? Anybody?
Take the measurements and
Yeah.
save the.
Yeah, the tailor will be taking measurements and then after taking the measurements, the tailor will lay the fabric on the table and they will mark the measurements and he will cut the fabric. After that, tailor will start assembling the components he cut. එතකොට මෙහෙම අමුණනවා දැන් කැලි ටික අමුණගෙන යනකොට මේ මැටීරියල් එකේ ෂේප් එක වෙනස් වෙනවා ට්‍රවුසර් එකකට. So what the tailor has done at the end of the day, he has changed the shape of the material. What the tailor has done, he has changed the shape of the material from fabric to trouser. He has changed the shape of the material, fabric to trouser. But no one is very happy now because he has done it well. So no one pays normally 2,000 and 3,000 ma denos tailored. So the tailor is also happy. Tailor hano bata satutu ida දැන් කියලා. නුවන් කියනවා එයා තමයි හොඳටම කළේ කියලා. So the customer is very happy with the change of the shape. අපේ තියෙනවනේ garment factories 3,500ක් 4,000ක් විතර about 3.4 million people වැඩ කරනවනේ මේවැ. මේ හැම garment factory එකම කරන්නේ fabric වල shape එක වෙනස් කරන එක. That is the value addition. මේ ලෝකේ කොහේ garment factories තිබුණත් millions of garment factories, what do? they are changing the shape of fabric in such a way that customer will be happy. එහෙමනම් material එක දැන් මේක උදාහරණයක් ගත්තත් fabric ගත්තට කාර් එක වුණත් ඒකයි steel sheet එකක් අරගෙන මේක die press එකකින් යවුවාම දොර හැදෙනවා bonnet එක හැදෙනවා ඩිකිය හැදෙනවා ඒතකොට shape එක වෙනස් වෙනවා ඒතර මොන industry එකේ හරි material වල shape එක වෙනස් වෙනවා නම් customer කැමති විදියට ඒක value adding. That is the first one. The second one is the form. දැන් මෙතන මම උදාහරණයක් කරන් තියෙනවා මේ milking. This lady is milking the cow. අපි කියන්නේ පසු පාල් තැරුම් කියලානේ කිරි දෙනවා කියලානේ එළ දෙන්න පාල් means පාල් කියන්නේ කිරිනේ දෙමළෙන් ඒතර පසු පාල් තැරුම් කිරි දෙනවා දැන් මේ කිරි ටික ඔක්කොම එළ දෙනුන්ගෙන් එකතු කරගෙන ෆැක්ටරි එකට ගිහිල්ලා අපි වතුර අයින් කරනවා තන්නේ වතුර අයින් කරනවා මේ වතුර අයින් කළාම තන්නේ අයින් කරාම අපිට හම්බුන පිටි. ඒතර අපිට මුලින් කිරි තිබුණා දැන් තියෙනවා පිටි. ඉතින් අපි මේක සුපර් මාකට් එකෙන් වැඩිපුර ගාණක් ගෙවලා පොලින් වල ඉඳලානේ පහුගිය කාලේ ගෙනිච්චි. එතකොට කිරි වලින් වතුර අයින් කරාම පිටි හැදෙනවා. දැන් පිටි ටික ගෙදර ගෙනියලා අපි මොකද කරන්නේ ආපහු? ගෙදරලා ආපහු වතුර දානවා. ඒතර ආපහු කිරි. එතකොට කිරි වලින් අපි කිරි පිටි කරනවා. පිටි වතුර දාලා ආපහු කිරි කරනවා. කිරි වලින් වතුර අයින් කරලා පිටි කරනවා. පිටි වලට වතුර දාලා ආපහු කිරි කරනවා. What are we changing? What do we change? Yes. In this case, what are we changing? We are changing the form or we are changing the composition. එතකොට අපි කස්ටමර්ට කැමති විදිහට මේක වෙනවා නම් ඒකත් value adding function එකක්. We are changing the form value adding function. කිරි පිටි කළත් පිටි කිරි කළත් customer කැමති විදිහට නම් ඒක වෙන්නේ form එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. In chemical engineering, almost 100% this is happening. We are changing the form. So there are two things now. Either you are changing the shape, it is value adding, or you are changing the form, that is also value adding. Then you have these kind of activities. Now, if you take very old cars, මේ වගේ කාර් ගත්තොත් එහෙම අපි කොහොමද ෂටර් එක අරින්නේ? Yes, anybody? මේ පරණ කාර් වල අපි කොහොමද ෂටර් එක අරින්නේ? Herath, what do you think? How do you open the shutter? Very old cars. Yes? How do you open the shutter? Yes? Gayan? මේගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවද සෙෂන් එකේ නැද්ද දන්නේ නැහැ.
There's a handle. From that handle we have to rotate that one then down there.
Yes, with the lever you manually rotate කරනවා. කරකවල තමයි විදුරු අරින්නේ. But in new cars, in the modern cars, how do you open the shutter? මේ වගේ වෙයිද?
Just a press.
Yeah, just press a button. ඒතර මොකද්ද වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ?
Mechanism.
වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ function එක.
Function.
Yeah, so there are millions and billions of functions we are changing every day, but we have to pay a little bit more. But we like it. The functions is changed in such a way that the customer is happy. Functions are changed. ඒතර මේකත් value adding එකක්. Now there are three things where value adding is happening. One is shape එක වෙනස් වෙනවා, form එක වෙනස් වෙනවා, function එකත් වෙනස් වෙනවා. There are three. They identified another one, fit එක. It can be to the environment, it can be to the situation, it can be to various other situations. The fit is there. It is fitting. දැන් මේ hotel එකේ තියෙන විශේෂත්වය මොකක්ද? What is the difference? What is specialty about this hotel? Those who have, maybe some of you must have been living there, gone there. Yes. What kind of a specialty? That particular hotel?
Eco-friendly. Eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly, yes, you are right. So it is fit into the environment then. This hotel is fit into the environment. It can be fit into the environment, it can be fit into the situation, it can be fit into the customer, whatever way, the fit is there. So we have four things now, either shape, either form, either function, or the fit. හැබැයි මේ ඔක්කොම හරියට තිබුණත් වැඩක් නැහැ. මෙන්න මේක නැත්තම්. මොකද්ද මේ? What can you identify in common in all four pictures? In all four pictures, what is common? What can you see in common? Yes?
Change.
It is basically aesthetics. සෞන්දර්යය. අන්තිමට ප්‍රිනික්ස් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකේ සෞන්දර්යය නැත්තම් ඒක ටිකක් ප්‍රශ්නයක්. මාකට් කරන්න ටිකක් අමාරුයි. When you produce the assignment, even fonts ටික ගාන්ට තියවුණා නම් හරියටම alignments කරා නම් page numbering එකම තැනක දැම්මා නම් headings වලට වෙනම font එකක් හරි size එක හරි වෙනස් කරා නම් center justification එක කරා නම් ඒ assignment එකේ academic quality එක වැඩි. aesthetic part එක හොඳයි. ඒක නිසා especially when you are marketing products, it can be the product or it can be packaging even, should be aesthetically designed. Now there are 5 things. So these are the 5 things: shape, composition, either shape or composition, that is the form, function, fit and aesthetics. එතකොට මේ පහෙන් එකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් ඒක value adding process එකක්. මේ පහෙන් එකක්වත් නැත්නම් ඒක non value adding. මේ පහෙන් එකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් ඒක value adding. මේ පහෙන් එකක්වත් නැත්නම් ඒක non value adding. Now you have a very clear criteria to decide whether processes are value adding or not. එතකොට අර පහෙන් එකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් ඒ process එක මෙතෙන්ට වැටෙනවා. ඒ පහෙන් එකක්වත් නැත්නම් process එක non value adding වෙනවා. එතනින් අපි තීරණය කරන්න ඕන whether it is really required or not. If it is not required, you can eliminate. Otherwise, you have to minimize. Is that very clear to everybody? How to identify value adding and non value adding processes? Are you clear now? Yes? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Can somebody speak, please?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good. Yeah. Now,
sir.
now මෙහෙම කිව්වට දැන් මිනිසුන්ට තාමත් තේරෙන්නේ නැහනේ. ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකේ ඔපරේටර් කෙනෙකුට, වෙයර්හවුස් එකේ ඔපරේටර් කෙනෙකුට කිව්වොත් එහෙම මෙන්න මේ පහෙන් එකක් හරි වෙනවා නම් මේක වැලියු වැඩින් නැත්තම් මේව කරන්න එපා කියලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒ ඔතොරිටි එක දෙන්නත් බෑ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒක නිසා Toyota initially came up with non-value adding processes, activities. One of the non-value adding process Toyota identified was transportation. දැන් නිකන් බලන්න Toyota identified transportation as a non-value adding process. So first one is transportation as a non-value adding, as a waste. Non-value adding process. හැබැයි transportation නැතුව බෑ. දැන් raw material ටික supply එකේ warehouse එකේ ඉඳලා අපේ warehouse එකට ගෙනාවොත් නේ production කරන්න පුළුවන්. Transportation කළා කියලා අර පහෙන් එකක්වත් වෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි transport කරා කියලා ඒක පහෙන් එකක්වත් නුනට transport නොකර බෑ. ඒක නිසා මේක ඇවිල්ලා අර non value adding but required කට්ටිය එකක්. This is non value adding හැබැයි required transportation. හැබැයි waste එකක්. මොකද අර පහෙන් එකක්වත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. The second waste they identified, inventory. Inventory. ඒක තප්පර දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මිනිත්තු දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, පැය දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, දවස් දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, සුමාන දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මාස දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, අවුරුදු දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් තියාගන්නේ. හැබැයි තියාගත්ත කියලා අර පහෙන් එකක්වත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එමනම් inventory කියන්නේ waste එකක්. Remember, inventory is a waste. Third one, motion. Not all the motions, unwanted motions. චලන එහෙම යන ඒවා. ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකේ නිකන් ඇවිදිනවා හැමෝම. warehouse එකේ යට මෙහාට යනවා බඩු ගන්න. අර පහෙන් එකක්වත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Non value adding. Waste. Then the fourth one, that is a killer, another killer actually, waiting. Waiting. There are some people who are traveling from Matara to Colombo, Kandy to Colombo to work. පැය 3ක් අපි හිතමු බස් එකේ waiting. උදේට පැය 3යි, හවසට පැය 3යි, පැය 6ක් waiting. පැය 6ක් කියන්නේ දවසෙන් 4න් එකක්. එතකොට පැය 6ක් කියන්නේ දවසෙන් 4න් එකක්ම බස් එකේ waiting. නිකන් waiting නෙවෙයි, ෆලු පුච්ච. There are a lot of waiting. මේ මිනිස්සේ අවුරුදු 80ක් ජීවත් වුණොත් අවුරුදු 20ක්ම කරලා තියෙන්නේ waiting. So waiting is a killer actually. That is why in countries like Japan, the transport ministers are very concerned about waiting times of passengers for the trains and buses, and they are trying to minimize it as much as possible. In the supermarket, there are so many techniques developed to minimize the waiting times of customers in the queues. Queues වලින් customers ලා අයින් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Walmart self terminals දාලා තියෙනවා 50ක් 60ක්. customers ලා තමන්ම ගිහිල්ලා තමන්ම pay කරලා යනවා යන්න. queue වල waiting නැහැ. airports වල self terminals තියෙනවා තමන්ම ගිහිල්ලා තමන්ම bag එක scale එකේ තියලා barcode එක print කරලා තමන්ගේ bag එක දානවා conveyor belt එකට. තමන්ම data enter කරලා boarding pass එක අරගන්නවා. වෙනම counters නැහැ. Waiting time 0. That is very important. Waiting time is so important. There are theories developed, waiting line theories, or sometimes we call it queuing theory. මේ waiting time කොහොමද අඩු කරන්නේ? So there are some theoretical concepts developed to minimize weighting. And the fifth one is another killer: over process production. Overproduction. Overproduction. ඕනෑවට වඩා process කරනවා. අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම සසංක කොහෙද ගෙවල්? yes සසංක ඉන්නවද? කොහෙද ගෙවල්?
රාගමල්.
okay මම ගෙදර આવොත් ඒකක් දෙනවද? දෙනවනේ. ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ එක තේකයි හදන්න ඕන. වතුර කෝප්ප කීයක් නටවනවද?
ඒතලේ නටන්න බෑ.
ඔව්. එතකොට වතුර කෝප්ප කොහොමද දෙක තුනකට වඩා නටනවා. හැබැයි එක තේකයි හදන්නේ. ඒතර මොනවද අපි වේස්ට් කරන්නේ? what are we wasting?
Overproduction.
Overproduction. We are wasting time, we are wasting material, we are wasting energy. ඒ මදිවට ඔළුව කචල් මෙයාකාව ඉක්මනට එලව ගන්න ඉක්මනට වතුර ටික නටන්න නැත ඒකක් හදලා දෙන්න. That is also there. And you can see the amount of waste. That is overproduction. මතක තියාගන්න, this is the only waste where you create inventories. ඕනෑවට වඩා produce කරනවා නැත්නම් ඕනෑවට වඩා purchase කරනවා. ඉතුරු ටික පාවිච්චි කරලා ඉතුරු ටික inventory යට යනවා. inventory කියන්නේ තවත් waste එකක්. So overproduction is a process which creates some more waste. And that is killing actually organizations. Overproduction. And the sixth one will be overprocessing. Sixth one, overprocessing. ඕනෑවට වඩා process කරනවා. In some organizations, there are so many processors, but not used. Recently, I visited an organization for a consultation. At the end of the month, they are generating about 112 reports. 112 reports. When I ask how many reports are used, only 5-6 reports are used. So when I ask why are you producing then 112, nobody knows why. From the day one, they were producing their month-end reports. Lot of efforts. And all the reports are manual. All the reports are paper. So see the waste, then only 5-6 reports are used, 112 reports are produced every month. And people are killing time till 12 o'clock in the night during the month ends to prepare these reports. Overprocessing. And at the end of the day, finally, you are producing some kind of defects as well. You are producing some defects. Tell me a single organization in Sri Lanka, your defects rate is 0. Not a single organization in Sri Lanka you have defect rate is 0. That means you are producing defects. තේකට ලුණු දානවා සීනි බෝතලේ ලුණු බෝතලේ එක තැන තිච්චින්. ඒක ලුණු දාපු තේක ඩිෆෙක්ට් එකක්. ඒක බොන්න බෑ ඒක කානුවට දානවා. So these are the 7 basic waste initially Toyota identified. So if you can remember Tim Wood, you will be able to remember the 7 waste. So these are the 7 waste. Right. Make a note on 7 waste. Important. So make a note on 7 waste. It is important. I'll give you 2 minutes. Quickly, please. Okay, then you understand the 7 waste. So this is what Toyota initially identified, 7 waste. And in the process of identifying more waste, Toyota identified so many other different types of waste as well. So initially, tim wood. So that is 7 waste, tim wood. And they identified further unused employee create as another. Employees, they have got a lot of creativity, but they don't have an opportunity to implement. Their creativity is not used. Can you hear me, please? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. That is also waste. And wrong placement of people. මිනිසුන්ගේ දක්ෂතාවයල් අනුව නෙමෙයි ජොබ් එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. උසනම් security, මිටිනම් තව එකක්. ඔය විදිහටනේ jobs දෙන්නේ. එතකොට මං කැමති job එක හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මගේ දක්ෂතාවයට job එකක් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Wrong placement. එතකොට මගේ දක්ෂතාවය පාවිච්චි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. And also unutilized byproducts. All these are waste. And you have some more waste. There are design waste. Product එක design කරනකොටම වැරදි. සදාකාලික දුක් විඳින්න ඕන. Design waste එක. Simply බලන්න ගෙදර sink එක හයි කරලා තියෙන්නේ බාසුන් නැහැ උස නම් බාසුන් නැහැගේ උසට. නැත්නම් බාසුන් නැහැ මිටි නම් බාසුන් නැහැගේ උසට. අම්මා උස නම් කොන්ද නමාගෙන තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. Design waste. Overheads, energy waste, and safety waste. Do organization or the country doesn't have proper safety system. හැමදාම එකෙක් දෙන්නෙක් වෙඩි තියලා මරනවා. පාරේ හොඳ safety system එකක් නැහැ. හැමදා පාරේ average ලංකාවේ 6 දෙනෙක් මැරෙනවා. See the magnitude of safety waste. And විසියෙක්වෙනි සියවසේ දරුණුම ඛේදවාචක ටිකේ තමයි මේක. Everybody has good ideas and talents but not utilized. Ideas and talents not used, unutilized. Technology is implemented but not utilized. Some of your organizations may have implemented SAP kind of systems. හැබැයි Excel වල තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. Utter waste. Administration, maybe your bank interest, slow moving items, stock write-offs are there, stock holding cost, temporary price reductions, market returns, rebalancing, expediting, demurrage is paid, and also there is service area service waste. There are delays. මේ වැඩසටහන පටන් ගන්න විනාඩි 10ක් පරක් වුණා. විනාඩි 10 කියන්නේ විනාඩි 10ක් නෙවෙයිනේ. ඒ විනාඩි 10 බලා හිටියනම් 10 දෙනෙක්. එතකොට 10 වැඩි කිරීම 10 කියන්නේ විනාඩි 100ක් අපි පරක්කු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඩිලේ එකේ ඉම්පැක්ට් එක විනාඩි 100යි. එතකොට 1000ක් ඉන්න ෆැක්ටරි එක විනාඩි එකක් පරක්කු වෙනවා කියන්නේ විනාඩි 1000ක් පරක්කු වෙනවා කියන එක. ඩිලේ එක. සර්විස්. මේ ළඟදී මම ගියා මේ අර ඉඩම් මැනපුවගේ කොපියක් අරගන්න. අර සර්වේ කරා ලෑන්ඩ්ස්. ඒ වගේ මේ මගේ ඉඩමක ඔප්පුව ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා බලන්න ගියා. මම ගියේ උදේ 10ට විතර. අනේ එදාට ඒ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක කරන්න නෝන ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. මට කිව්වා ලබනසුමානේ මේ දමන්ගේ සිකුරාද වගේ ලබනසුමානේ එන්නකෝ ඇවිල්ලා බලන්නකෝ කියලා. ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න. එදාටත් වැඩේ කරනවද දන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් කරන නෝන නැත්තම් මිනිස්සු ඇවිල්ලා හැරිලා යන්න ඕන. මේ ලංකාවේ රජයේ සේවය. duplication of work හැමතැනම. පොතෙත් අස්සම් කරනවා සිස්ටම් එකේ කාඩ් එක ගහන්න ඕන. There are so many duplications, unwanted movements, unclear communication. ලෝකේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න වලින් භාගයක් තියෙන්නේ communication clear නැති හින්දා. ගෙදර ප්‍රශ්නත් ඒ වගේ. Inventory එක correct නැහැ, errors. There are so many human errors and on top of that there is opportunity cost. All these are service waste. So therefore, you can see when you reduce the waste, so this is the process with waste. But when you reduce the waste, the time is reduced from this much to this much. Processing time is only this much. When you reduce the waste, the processing time එක අඩු වුණා කියන්නේ you have improved your productivity, you have improved your capacity, and you are doing a lot of work. Therefore, You have to eliminate waste from the processes and your cost will be reduced. අපි පොඩි video එකක් බලමු. So let me open. You have to identify the waste that you see in this particular video. You need to identify the waste that you see in this particular video. Just give me a second. Okay. Right. So let me share it.
Making some toast for my wife. Honey, I made you some toast.
Is it raisin toast?
And you saw how much of time it took to prepare the toast. What is the time taken?
4.12.
Oh, 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Ultimately, he produced something that the customer doesn't want. Customer wanted razor toast, but he produced something else, and therefore it is a defect. Finally, he produced a defect. In the production process, there were so many different types of waste occurring. We saw a lot of waiting, we saw unwanted movements, we saw a lot of inventories carrying. All different types of waste were there. So let's look at another situation where it is improved. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay.
What type of toast would you like?
Wheat.
Okay. How many slices?
Just one, please.
Very good. Do it. All set.
Thanks, dear.
This time, how much of time taken? What is the time taken this time?
2.70.
2.17. So that means when he reduced the waste, waiting time, inventories, and all these waste you saw had been reduced. So when you reduce the waste, the time taken is reduced. That means your productivity is increased. Your time taken is reduced. And this is what will happen in your organizations also. When you reduce the waste, when you reduce waste, you are removing fats from the organization processes, and as a result, your productivity will be improved and your processes will be very lean. So identifying all the the waste in your processes, identifying all the waste in your processes, and have a systematic program to reduce the waste throughout is called lean management. That is what is lean. So lean management is in a particular manner systematically reducing and eliminating waste throughout the processes. So the waste you identify now, anything that adds to the cost product without adding value. No value is added, but so many things are added, then it is a waste. When you reduce the waste, now this person is very fat. Why this person is fat? Because he has got fat. But if he engage with a systematic program, then he will be burning his fat and will be lean like this. That is lean. So what is lean management, therefore? What is lean management, therefore? It should be very systematic, and it is a systematic approach eliminating waste or non-value adding activities through continuous improvement. How? By making products through improved speed with flexibility and best quality and lowest cost. That is what is lean. So when you apply lean in the purchasing area, in the procurement area, when you reduce waste and eliminate waste, it becomes just in time. That is what is just in time. Okay, take a small break, about 10 minutes, and then we'll talk about just in time and procurement systems. Is that clear? Is that very clear to everybody?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
So take about 10 minutes break. For 10, we'll meet and discuss just in time and other procurement systems. Okay, then thank you. Right. Hope everybody can hear me. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
can hear
Can
you.
you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Lean
Okay, very good.
principles.
Yeah, lean principles. Very good. So let's continue. So these are a few lean principles actually. The number one anyway is customer focus. So whatever you do, that is why in the second video, if you can remember, uh, before he makes the toast, he asks from the customer, from his wife, what kind of a toast you want? How many slices? That shows the customer focus. In your day-to-day work in your office, in your day-to-day work in your offices, think whether you are focusing on your customers to that extent. Maybe you are preparing the month-end report. Have you ever asked your boss what kind of report you want, what additional features you want, how it should be customized, whether I should be adding graphs, what do you really want? Because your boss is your customer. Or your customers, when you are supplying goods, if you are manufacturing and supplying, what time, what is the quality? Anyway, it is given, but what extra? How much of extra? Quality or timing or delivery or whatever it is, if you can do, that is customer focus. And today, data-driven decisions are very important. The lean is basically collecting a lot of data at the end of the day, and decisions are basically driven through after analyzing data. You can see the data triangle here. The data itself is just facts and no use if you don't use. I can collect your weight and the height in front of your name. Maybe your age, your weight, your height. I can collect. But that is just a set of data and no use. Just a set of measurements only. But if I categorize, okay, this age group, this is the height of the people, and this is the weights of the people. Maybe weights from 40 kilograms to 40 kilograms, 50 kilograms to 60 kilograms, 60 kilograms to 70 kilograms, 70 to 80, like that. Different age groups by age. So you can convert it to categorization. Then we will know this particular age group, how many people are there. These are the different, if I categorize it by height, I will know from 4 feet to 4.5 feet, how many people, 4.5 to 5 feet, 5 to 5.5 feet, 5 to 5.5 to 6, 6 and above. How many people we have, I will know. Then it is a piece of information. That is a piece of information then. Not just data. We have converted data to information. Further, if I categorize and if I take a big sample and in Sri Lanka, different age groups, what should be the weights and what should be the heights, and I develop an average, okay, from age group 20 to 25, average weight should be this, average height should be this. So like that, then we can generalize, and that is knowledge. You develop out of data, that is knowledge, that is a learning. Then I can say Sri Lankans, if you are between 20 to 25 age, your weight should be this. Dalava say, your height should be this. And that is knowledge. Suppose if somebody is there that person's age is 20 to 25, let's assume that around that age weight should be, let's assume 50 to 60 kilograms, but he has only 30 kilograms. Something wrong. Maybe his metabolism is not working properly. You channel a doctor, you direct him to a doctor, and doctor identify something. That is wisdom beyond knowledge. So what happens if you don't collect data? Nothing of these will happen. Just because you are collected and analyzed data, you will be able to reach wisdom. It is very important. Whatever the industry you are, it is important. So that is one of the principles of lean, then data-driven decisions. Remember, the respect for people very important, and your result focus always. Not only the responsibility you get, your accountability is also there. Always you are trying to be excellent. That is the continuous improvement. So these are the basic lean principles. So it explains further principle 1, principle 2, the customer focus we discussed, data-driven decisions we discussed, and respect. So it is about the processes then. A bad process will beat a good person every time. You see, you may be an excellent person. You are highly qualified, very excellent, the highly productive person. But if you engage with the bad process, what will happen? You will fail. Not because you are not good, because your system is not good. Your process is not good. Therefore, everything is about the processes and result focus. The results go by the SMART principles: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Also, accountability. This is very important. That is why these kind of the charts, VUCA charts, are very important in organizations. Exactly, then hiring, in terms of hiring for the project, you can see these people are responsible. Plan, do, systemize, and act. So you are on the schedule then. So if you have not done your job, you understand you are behind the schedule. Yellow, slightly behind the schedule. So you display your responsibility, your accountability, and also excellence, incremental, continuously improving, continuous improvement. So it can be big improvements, small improvements, whatever way it is, continuous improvement. Then coming to lean total implementation, lean house. So lean house, you have the foundation here. There are so many tools. Of course, the first tool will be 5S. I know many of you, almost all of your organizations must have implemented 5S. But if I come tomorrow to your office, you will not be able to see 5S. That is the status in many organizations in Sri Lanka. But there are other tools as well: value stream mapping, pull production, Kanban, visual workplace, TPM. All these are quality function deployment, the problem solving techniques. All these are foundations. Balance scorecard. Also, through continuous improvement, you have projects, to reduce waste. These are the 5 pillars just in time. The 5 pillars just in time. Then total quality management, employee involvement, value adding, and time-based competition. Those are the 5 pillars. On the 5 pillars, you have developed enablers like HR systems, management behavior, communication systems, training is done, and reduce inventory, increase throughput. Those are the lean focuses, and finally values, customer focus, inspiring people, and maintaining reputation, financial success. So the roof is the result. The roof will be the result. And you can see increased profits, reduce cost, quality, delivery, flexibility, all things. All these are the benefits that you are deriving from lean implementation. For us, it is very important to understand what is just in time as well. What do you mean by just in time? Now, what do you do there? So let me pick that particular slide. So just in time, give me a second. So what happens in just in time? You are now, we understand the 7 waste. We understood the 7 waste and other waste in lean. So what happens there? When you eliminate some of the waste and accommodate it to the purchasing process, that becomes just in time. You are eliminating inventory. How to eliminate inventory? You bring the raw material to the maybe 1 hour before to the production machine. Instead of bringing it 2 days, 3 days ahead to the warehouse, you are bringing raw material to the machine 2 hours ahead. Only for that day's requirement, only for next 2 hours requirement. At the end of the day, you don't have anything left, no inventories, and you don't want a warehouse even, because you are not bringing 1-2 days ahead raw material or components. You are bringing just before the production only for that particular day's requirement. So at the end of the day, you are utilizing everything and nothing left. So you are eliminating inventory. And that is one of the waste then. And that is called just in time. So just in time is basically demand driven. Whenever production wants only, you will produce, you will buy. So it is a push system. It is a pull system rather than push. If somebody places an order only, you will produce just in time. And that is, let's look at a small video on Dell production system and see how they practice just in time. Let me share this.
manufacturing tour. When we started Dell, I challenged our manufacturing teams to think differently and create a process that would provide deliver-to-stock speed with build-to-order efficiency and effectiveness. This has become an integral part of the Dell Direct model. What this means for you is that we don't build anything until you order it, which allows us to deliver exactly the product that you want with the support you need for the lowest total cost of ownership. I hope you enjoy this virtual tour, which highlights the best practices of our global fulfillment network. And thank you for choosing Dell.
Dell's global fulfillment network consists of facilities strategically located across the globe. This capability includes manufacturing centers for assembly of custom-configured computing products, fulfillment centers to ensure rapid delivery of dissimilar items, and to provide additional technology rollout services. This is Dell's global fulfillment network. All of Dell's manufacturing centers use the same processes enabled by the same systems and are measured the same way. This ensures consistent award-winning quality across our global network and allows us to identify and implement best practices. Now, let's see how these manufacturing centers operate. Our build-to-order model was designed to build your order exactly as you need it. Your order is routed to the manufacturing center closest to your ship-to destination. At that point, the order is electronically transferred from Dell's order management system to the manufacturing scheduling system, where all orders, including yours, are sequenced into the production schedule every 2 hours. Every manufacturing center across the globe has a network of Dell servers that act as the brains of the facility. They receive orders from our order entry system. The servers keep track of work in process, and associates serialize parts with the unique serial number of each machine. Unique software images are stored for download onto customers' machines as they move through the process. This portion of Custom Factory Integration, CFI, allows our customers to eliminate software installation upon receipt. Our build-to-order process generates requests for material required for customers' orders every 2 hours, during which the material is delivered to the factory and built to order. Since there are no warehouses, part inventories are low. Our process is unique in that we serialize at the front of our line. A unique identifier, the computer's name or service tag number, is created and printed onto a label in both human-readable and machine-readable barcode format. The service tag number is used throughout the life of the machine and is a basis for our quality system. Scanning the service tag indicates to our teammates which components to place into a reusable protective container or tote. By the time the tote has traveled the entire length of the kitting line, all the parts required for the customer's unique machine are in place. The last step of the kitting process is matching a chassis with the parts in the tote. The first action after the completed kit arrives in the build area is to scan the service tag. This scan delivers unique instructions based on our customers' requirements to the builder's control panel that guides them through the assembly process step by step. As our teammates assemble the machine, they can scan the serial number of each part to associate the part serial number with the service tag number of that machine. This simple act allows Dell and our customers to have a complete history over the life of the machine, enabling a process to drive quality accountability throughout the supply chain. Since the system service tag number is tracked throughout the manufacturing facility, the brains of the facility take over and test the machine to ensure all components are present and operating as expected. After this phase, the customer-requested software, including custom images, is downloaded onto the machine. Final testing finishes the process, and the machine is then transported to the boxing area. This efficient use of machine-to-machine communication, coupled with several patented process innovations, ensures a consistently high-quality product. After the machine has been built and tested, it is transported to a boxing line and the service tag is scanned upon arrival. The machine is securely placed into a shipping box, which travels down a conveyor where additional customer-specified parts are scanned as they are placed inside the box. This highly engineered global process ensures we deliver exactly what the customer expects. The box is then sealed and sent either straight to shipping or to an order accumulation area. While all machines to complete a customer's order are started at the same time, they may not finish at the same time due to process variability. To ensure we ship a complete order to our customers, we stage finished machines until the final machine is done. The entire order is released to shipping for delivery to our customers through a merge center. Dell operates merge centers across the globe to perform an in-transit match of the customer systems with additional items to complete their order. For example, monitors, printers, or computers manufactured at other Dell locations are combined into one shipment. Dell manages the complexity of this network so that our customers get exactly what they ordered when they need it.
Hi, I'm Kevin Rollins, and thank you for taking time to learn about our global fulfillment capabilities. We've designed them with you in mind so that you can build computer systems to meet your unique requirements in the most efficient way possible. We'll continue to evolve our business processes to ensure we meet and exceed the high expectations of our global customers. Please let us know how we can make your experience with Dell the best it can be. Thank you.
Okay, you saw then how Dell works. I hope you saw the once we order a computer, only suppliers are supplying components. They are supplying every 2 hours for the next 2-hour production. Therefore, they don't have a warehouse. There is only a area where you are basically making a full package to putting all the components into one box, passing the box to production. That is the kitting area. Only kitting area is there, no warehouse. You are getting only the components to produce only for that particular day. And that is the system they have implemented. I saw this operation in Kentucky 2016, but after that they shifted the production to China. Now the production is going on in China actually. I don't know what will happen with Trump's administration. They are demanding now. Trump is demanding the organizations to bring their production facilities back to the USA, but people are reluctant because the cost basis will be highly increased. Anyway, so those are ongoing issues now. Let me share the presentation again. Okay, hope you can see the presentation. Can you see it? So it is demand driven. No, it is a pull system. They don't have a warehouse. So they are working on takt time and no raw material or component inventories are maintained. Suppliers are supplying when they receive an order from a customer. So when you order computer only, suppliers will be supplying all the components. So the creating that particular lean environment, that with lean, what is lean? You are eliminating all the waste systematically. So they have eliminated inventory waste. They have eliminated overproduction waste. They have eliminated overprocessing waste. They have eliminated defect waste. So like that, so many waste they have eliminated, and finally altogether it becomes just in time. So with the just in time system, you will be able to engage with continuous improvements, and you must do it. You have to do it, and you have to you should try to satisfy the customers, and you can't if your repair rate, defect rate is high, you will have to engage with repairs. So therefore instead they have implemented right first time, no defects. And also one thing, in this kind of systems you have to develop your second layer, third layer of leaders. Grooming leaders is a must in this kind of industries. Whatever the industry is, grooming leaders, it is very important. It is an industry, it can be an industry or it can be otherwise. It can be a country, organization, whatever it is, you should have leaders grooming. It is quite important. So that is about just in time. So you can read some more, but this is not all. There are a lot of things that you need to be done to get organizations to this level. You have to synchronize the suppliers, you have to develop the suppliers. Toyota, 70 years, almost 70 years, they were struggling in developing and getting the suppliers to today's level. Because suppliers should be treated as partners. If the suppliers don't commit to their lead times and produce quality that you require, you will never ever be able to implement just in time and lean. So one of the major barriers will be actually suppliers, and you have to develop supplier bases and their commitment. All these things are very important. Okay, now anything else? Any questions from this particular area? Anybody? Any questions from this area? Anybody, please? Okay, then we have concluded today the session on lean management and the lean. The just in time. Just in time is basically implementation of lean in production and procurement area, eliminating waste. So we have gone into details and discussed that area. I think this is an area where you will be getting questions as well. So therefore, please focus. And also, this is just an introduction and just a stepping stone to this particular subject areas. So you need to, depending on the requirements of your organizations, you need to engage with more learning, continuous learning and continuous reading. And it is very good that if some of your organizations, if they have embarked on projects to implement lean, don't hesitate to join such teams. If you get an opportunity to engage with implementation of lean or any other initiative in your organization and get into that kind of project teams, if you have an opportunity, don't hesitate. When you engage with more and more projects only, you will be gaining experience. When you engage with different projects only, you will be gaining experience. Otherwise, when you say you have got 10 years experience, if you have not done in different types of project, it is 1 year's experience repeated 10 times. Actually, you don't have 10 years experience. But if you have engaged at least in the 10 years, 10 projects, then you have 10 years experience. So therefore, try to engage with these kind of projects and gain experience. And that is what really that you will be, taking care of your futures. I hope you will be joining the Sundays, tomorrow's discussions at Water's Edge. I don't know whether you are invited or do you have a plan to come, or what is the situation? I don't know. Is there a plan like that?
Yes, sir, we'll be coming.
Okay, okay. Okay, then. Thank you very much. We'll see you at Water's Edge tomorrow. All the
Okay,
best
sir.
then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye. Okay, welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Bye.